Hi, Matt. Hi, JJ. My name is Monica. I'm with Temple Geek. Thank you so much for speaking with me today. I'm really excited to talk to you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So, my first question is really about the inspiration behind Jane. It's such a fun and cute show and so educational. What inspires you to create this type of children's programming?
Well, Jane specifically came from just after the birth of my first kid, my daughter. I remember, you're staring into this young, innocent, sweet face and immediately having this sense of like panic about what world she was inheriting. And so that began the wheels of trying to figure out how do we come up with an environmental series that's going to balance hopefulness with still the action adventure and everything else that you would hope to see in a show. And that's when you get to use the sinking ship brain trust, which includes Matt, obviously, on VFX and the team to really try to construct something that is fun and engaging to watch, but also has a message at the end, how you can do your part to save the planet.
And what kind of conversations do you have around that? Like, the balance of being educational, but also fun. Like, where do you guys draw a line? Like, what conversations do you have around that?
I mean, for us, it's educational, sometimes gets a bad rap. For me, it's just having a takeaway. We talk about it as something in the show that you'd want to tell your best friend about. So some bit of information that you'd want to share or makes you feel like you have a better sense of the world around you. And so it is a fine line. Like we want people to be engaged with exciting visuals. I mean, obviously the VFX on this show, the team that Matt led recently won an Emmy for VFX, and you can see that. So we want to take kids to a place that and get closeness to the animals that feels hyper real and awesome. But at the same time, we need that caring heart piece. Otherwise, they're not going to leave this show hopefully feeling a little bit changed.
Absolutely. And Matt, for you, working on a show with to me it seems like a very big scale, right? Working on all these special effects and the CGI. What kind of challenges are you working with? What kind of, what's your experience been like collaborating with writers, collaborating with, the showrunners? What can you say about that?
Absolutely. Well, I really think that Jane was kind of a culmination of our last 20 years at Sinking Ship building up together. So JJ and I have been working together for 20 years. It's hard to believe we started when we were 8, but we did. And so with each of the shows, we try to build and kind of do something that scares us a little bit. And I think what was so exciting about a series like Jane is that every episode, there's a different creature, there's a different set of, biology and anatomy we had to discover and try to rebuild and recreate, yet still trying to find a way to make sure that we can have it work for the show, like for the actual structure of the episode. Because, you know, getting a panda bear to go on top of a play structure can be a little bit tricky, but having those like fun, amazing moments with JJ and the writing team where they're coming up with crazy ideas, and we're kind of just thrilled to push it further, from the ant colony attack and the pink fairy armadillo. There were so many new things that we've never done before. We had a shot with almost 500,000 ants, and it was like, that's a crazy thing that we're just thrilled that we get a chance to do. Partners at Apple were really amazing at pushing the creative as well. So for us, we're really thrilled that we can have a show that's both incredibly exciting, also incredibly educating, but it kind of happens in tandem. So, on our end, creating all these amazing stories was just it was an absolute thrill.
Awesome. And have you guys seen that your passion for science or animal has have been reignited, or are you guys just like, this is a lot?
I mean, I think for me, it never left, and this was a way to do a deeper dive. And every time you do more research, you just learn how incredible this planet is. Like all of these animals are so much more sophisticated. Their relationships are so much more intertwined, and our connectivity with them between humans and animals. You just see how imperative it is that we maintain this kind of biodiversity. So I think if anything, you just get a much larger respect as you learn more and more about the world around us. So that's been a particular bonus of creating something like this.
Can you guys speak a little bit to what it's been working with the cast? We just interviewed the two young stars. They're so great. Can you speak a little bit to the challenges of working with children or like the rewards of working with them? Like, what is it like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, if we have a superpower, it's that we get to work with kids at all times. And when you have kids like Ava, Louise, and Mason, I mean, they will share with you very honestly about how they feel about the script and what they're shooting. And I love it because they feel a part of the show. I think we really lucked out with this cast in particular because they're living the mission. They, were changing their behaviors. They were, trying to reduce waste. They were so actively participating in the goals of the series. So that was just amazing. And I think in general, when you work with kids and just kids in general, like they're looking for ways to maximize their fun at all times. And I think that's something that we as adults sometimes lose. And so to be in that place where you're reminded of like, how do we make this fun and engaging, just makes for a livelier set. So there's not many detractions other than, you can't film for them as long as you can with adults.
Absolutely. And Matt, you just won some impressive awards for the first season of Jane, but how is it that you measure the success of the show?
Yeah, we're incredibly honored to win the Visual Effects Emmy this year. And how do we measure success? I honestly feel like what I'm so proud of this series is that it is going to be planting the seeds in so many young minds about what they can do, both at a small scale, but also at a large scale as well. And I think that kind of goes beyond any physical accolades that could ever be given. And I think at the end of the day, like anytime that you could put something out into the universe that ideally leaves the audience better off, more inspired, more excited to make change, to me, like that is what we always try to do on our shows, but what I can absolutely see that has come to fruition with Jane.
Amazing. And so this last question I have is for the both of you. What is the most important message that you hope that kids and their families will take away from the programming?
You want me to go first, Matt?
Take it away.
I mean, I think this season there's one quote from Dr. Jane Goodall that nature can win if we give her a chance. And I think she is such a strong proponent of how resilient the environment is. And so I hope that people don't feel hopeless in the face of all the challenges that the environment is currently experiencing, that if we all collectively do very small changes, those changes, when done by millions of people, can really change the planet. And I think there's one episode in this season, and this was another one that was specifically inspired by working with Dr. Goodall, where she talked about the importance that her mom played in supporting her life mission. And so we did an episode that really looks at Jane's mom coming to support her imaginative adventures. And I think it's just a reminder to parents of, when you've got a kid that's feeling empowered or wants to do something, how key a role you play in supporting that. On this show in particular, that might be as simple as going to joinjane.org, where if you're inspired by the series, there's really tangible things that you can do with Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots Foundation. But I think, that feeling is what's been particularly exciting about this season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I totally echo everything that JJ says there. For me, in watching these episodes and working on them, I'm in such a state of awe, but it really boils down for me is be kind, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and be kind to the planet. And that little message, and I know there's so many more other layers, but that really resonates with me watching this series and working on this series, and hopefully the audience takes that as well.
As an audience member, I definitely take that away. I love sharing the show with my nieces and nephews. So thank you so much. I look forward to hopefully a season 3 and 4 and so on.
Thank you so
Congratulations on the
much.
second series.
Thank you.